Okay, there we go. All right. StreamYard has just let me know that I'm live. Now I got to wait for YouTube to let you know that I'm live. And then we can begin yet another episode of VypDrive. Hello. How you doing? Happy Thursday. And there is the YouTube notification. I see Janoson's in the cut already. What's up, Janoson's? How you doing, baby? How you doing? I see you. But yep, YouTube just sent out that notification, which means we are officially a go, baby. This live stream, this podcast is a go. Oh my goodness, is that Lethal Emperor? That is Lethal Emperor. I haven't seen that dude in forever. What's up, bro? How you doing? Alex Jackson out there. Josh Quinones is out there. What's up, Josh? Oh man. Brian out there. Brian. Wow. I haven't seen Brian in a while either. What's up, Brian? How you doing, man? How you doing? Zach Talk Tech is out there too. Marvin Wallace. Oh, okay. Got the wood burning warrior. What's happening? How y'all doing? All right, so I got my man Terry on deck. Let's get him in here. See what we got. This should be a good episode. This the first episode we did together, one of my favorite podcast episodes ever. So I expect this one to be no different. But go to work. So this is VypDrive episode number 99, baby. And 99 is bringing back one of the best guests I've ever had on this podcast. That is right. I'm talking about the motivational, the fitness guru, the badass, the techie camera nerd himself, Terry Warfield is here. And he's coming up next on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech. And welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And as I just alluded to, I am bringing in one of the most badass motivational tech people on the YouTube platform. I got to bring my boy, Mr. Up in here, Terry Warfield, and back. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Yo. Look like we live on camera. What's up, y'all? What up, Vipe?
We are live, baby. We are live. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, it ain't no point in complaining. Don't nobody give a crap. So I'm fine. I'm fantastic.
There you go, man. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for the time. I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. So I was looking through your current YouTube content, and one video crossed my eye. The title was, "Can the 2020 iPad Pro replace a MacBook Pro?" I watched the video, and I think me and you have similar views about this, but your ultimate conclusion was that no, at least for you, the iPad cannot replace your MacBook Pro. So talk to us a little bit more about how you came to that conclusion and why you feel like you do.
It was actually for a lot of reasons. And by the way, I hope y'all are doing all right tonight. And I gotta say something real quick, okay?
Go ahead.
Today, y'all, bless somebody in some type of way. All right, ain't no such thing as a small blessing. So I've been putting that out there every single day, man. Whether it's with money, whether it's buying somebody something, whether it's helping somebody out, whether it's giving somebody information, just every single day, man. With all this hate in the world, bless somebody in some type of way. All right, now that we get on, let's get on to the meat and potatoes. Okay, so why did I ultimately conclude the iPad Pro is not a laptop replacement? And I'll say, for some people, it could be, right? Because it depends on what you're doing. If you just regular content creating, hey, you just need to make YouTube videos, you just need to make a few thumbnails, you just need to get on social networks, stuff like that, then yeah, I mean, for some people who don't have a computer, hold on, let me turn my audio down a little bit. Yeah, for some people who don't have a computer, then it could be a laptop replacement, because for a lot of people, they get laptops just to do what? Get on social media, get on Twitter, maybe put a YouTube video or two together, etc. For me, however, I guess what you call a power user. I need more than what the iPad Pro can offer as a primary machine. It's a lot of stuff for me that the Pro just can't do, right? And some of the stuff I talked about in the video, but I'm gonna just run through a few things. Number one is the lack of a true file system. That to me is a huge bottleneck, man. Like when I'm going through and I'm copying gigabytes worth of stuff, photos, videos from one hard drive to another drive, or it's a complete bottleneck. And on top of that, if if they don't add a progress wheel or progress indicator when you are transferring files with an iPad,
Yes.
I'm not gonna cuss on your stream, but I'm gonna lose my marbles, man, because I have no clue. I have no clue if my files are done transferring, and I'm just sitting there like,
Yep.
you know, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the files to get done transferring, not knowing how much progress they've made.
Yep.
So it's number one, the lack of a true file system. Number two, the biggest thing for me, and I will say, since getting this iPad Pro, it is still my favorite device. I'm just throwing that out there. I have noticed since getting it, I do not pull out my MacBook Pro as much because a lot of things I can accomplish on the iPad Pro right on my lap. It's faster and a lot of stuff than my MacBook Pro. Plus, I can touch it and use it, you know what I'm saying, interact with it. So for me, the major bottleneck is the lack of Final Cut Pro. It's the lack of Final Cut Pro. Yes, you can get stuff done with with LumaFusion. LumaFusion, right?
Yep.
You could get stuff done with LumaFusion, but it is a lot of stuff that I need to do in Final Cut Pro either doesn't exist in LumaFusion yet, and that's not to discredit LumaFusion because for what LumaFusion is, it's freaking incredible. But there's a lot of stuff I can't do in LumaFusion. You can't audio sync in LumaFusion. You cannot speed ramp, and y'all know I'm the slow-mo king. I need my speed ramping, man, and there's just like too many workarounds you have to do in LumaFusion to accomplish the same thing that you can accomplish in one step in Final Cut Pro. And a lot of stuff you can accomplish. So like for those quick edits where I just need to put together like a little snippet of a video for Twitter or something like that, yeah, LumaFusion can work. But for example, like I don't know if you watched that last video I did, Vype, where I was using the Mavic Air 2. There's no way I could have did that video on the iPad Pro just because it was too complex from start to finish to be able to do it on the iPad Pro. And then those are my main two pain points with the iPad Pro. That's why I could never replace it for me. Oh, number three, live streaming. You can't live stream from an iPad Pro. If you can, slap me because I ain't figured it out yet. But like I'm getting into live streaming gaming. You know, I've been working on a lot of projects with, you know, that's irrelevant, but involving a lot of live streaming, right? And you just can't get that stuff done with the iPad. Like I'm live streaming right now with my A7 III because I appreciate the quality. I want the HD. I need that butter.
Yep.
And I just can't get it with the iPad Pro. So those are the three main pain points for me that prevent me from ditching my MacBook Pro for iPad.
Yeah, you bring up some very good points. You can live stream with the iPad, but it's not nearly as feature-rich and robust as live streaming with a MacBook or a laptop or PC for that matter. So you're right about that. But I feel like you, man. The iPad Pro is one of my favorite devices. I got the Magic Keyboard. I use it every day. I use it a lot more than my MacBook Pro because, like you said, it's easier and more accessible. And most of the stuff that I do on my MacBook, I could do on my iPad. But could it replace my MacBook Pro full time? Hell no, man. Like you said, I need Final Cut Pro. I need those pro level applications and I need a machine that allows me to do pro level things that my MacBook Pro allows for that the iPad simply just can't do. Not to say that the iPad Pro is not a capable device because of course it is.
Oh, it absolutely is.
But it is not touching what the MacBook Pro can do right now, at least for me. But I understand that for a lot of people, it can.
Yeah, I think it's there. It's powerful enough. I mean, with the chip inside, we all know Apple's chips are about to be running MacBooks and iMacs. Like the chip is not the problem. It's the OS that's the limiting factor. If you could put a touch enabled Mac OS on an iPad Pro, game changer. Game changer. Straight game changer.
And we know, like I said, like I've been telling you guys, Apple have been working on Project Catalyst for the last 3, 4, 5 years, trying to integrate all these apps to work across all these platforms. So at some point with their Mac transitioning over to ARM and using Apple's own silicone, we probably will see a touchscreen Mac at some point. And then, like I said, that's going to be interesting, no doubt, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts, dude. I can't wait.
Hey,
I can't wait for that.
Gonna be real, man. Gonna be real. So we need to go into story time because
yes, sir.
It wasn't too long ago. You did not have an A7 III, and I remember how you were like dreaming of the day that you can get an A7 III.
Yeah.
But then something happened that allowed you to get an A7 III. So I don't know how long the story is, but do you have time to go into how you acquired your A7 III?
I got time. I got nothing but time.
Baby.
And my stream is I didn't plan my stream for the night just because I want to wait one more week before bringing it back. I'm with all this stuff going on. I just don't. For me, it don't feel right yet, so I haven't did it. But Yeah, so I preface this stream with like always paying it forward, right? Always blessing somebody in some type of way, which that's how I live every single day. Anybody that knows me personally will tell you I'm always trying to teach somebody something, help somebody, whether it's money, whether it's favors, whatever it is. I'm always trying to like uplift and empower people, however way I know how. You know what I'm saying? So when I wanted this A7 III, years, it ain't the best camera out there, but it was the camera that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And you know, at that time, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like I couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I haven't told nobody this story, so it's good that you asked this question. So, Jitter, your average consumer, some of y'all may know him, some of y'all may not. He ran a contest in collaboration with Sony, where basically it was like, yo, tag your favorite creator. You know what I'm saying? Whoever get the most votes, or it was something like that. They get, or no, they got randomly selected, I think. And my guy Mika ended up winning, which he didn't have a camera either. So you know, I was happy for him because he couldn't afford a camera at that time either. 2 or 3 days later, I wake up to a DM. And it's strange because I always like wake up to these random DMs with these crazy opportunities. And it was Judner. And he was like, yo, Terry, I know you didn't win, but so many people tagged your name when it came to this A7 III. I mean, like, I'm not blowing smoke. Like, it had to be like legit 150 people that tagged my name. Y'all, you know, it was like everybody was tagging my name on that.
Oh, yeah.
And Judner was like, yo, I've been watching you. I've been looking at your content, and I can't find a more deserving person on this earth that not to discredit what Mika got, but he was like, you should have, based off the amount of people that tagged you, obviously got one. So he was like, yo, what's your address? And I'm like, whoa. Yo, back up, shorty. Like, back up, yo. I don't take stuff from people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a giver, but I don't want you buying me socks. Don't buy me McDonald's. I will buy it. Because I just like I've been burned so many times with people doing something for me, and then when SH hit the fan, then they want to throw in my face what they did right. For me. That's not cool to me. So I don't do that to other people, and I don't like for people to do things for me. So at first I'm like, nah, I'm cool, bro. He's like, no, seriously, dude. Like, I really want to bless you. Like, I see you got a family, you work hard, you motivate people, your videos are top notch. Let me bless you one time. And I'm like, yo. So I'm like, at first, no, I'm going to talk to my wife. She like, if somebody trying to help you as much as you help other people, let them help you. Like, get the pride, throw your pride out the window, get out your own way. And if somebody is trying to help you, let them freaking help you. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man. I'm like, all right, what's the catch, bro? He like, man, what's the address, dude? So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I'm like, is Sony giving me this camera? He was like, no. I'm like, well, how are you doing it? He was like, bro, what's the address?
what's my man said, stop interrogating him and give him the damn address.
So basically, Judner paid out of pocket, dog, 2 G's. Mm-hmm. 2 G's to send me a camera. And it wasn't like I didn't have a camera. I had a camera already, but like it's just a testament of you never know who is watching you, man. I say that all the time. You never know who is watching you.
You and me both.
And you know, at first it was very difficult for me to accept it. Because you know, we men, we got pride, man. No, I don't need your money, dog. I don't need you doing nothing for me. But this was I did it. And I'm still appreciative of him to this day for doing that for me. You know what I'm saying? I reach out to him. I ain't gonna say all the time, but every so often I just hit him up like, yo, bro, I know you didn't have to do that, but thank you. You have no clue how much it meant to me. And that's one of the things that every single day I wake up and again, even though this camera may not be nothing to you, it's just a camera to other people. To me, it was like it was a dream camera for me that I couldn't get because I couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at a point in my life where my money's straight, you know what I'm saying? Everything is cool. And because of gestures like that, I wake up every day and I do so much stuff off the radar that I don't talk about. Like, you know, a lot of y'all saw me during the quarantine, like shooting money to nurses and stuff like that publicly. not to say that I'm doing something for somebody, but to motivate people that good people are still out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it happened, man. And every day I pay it forward in some type of way. So that is crazy. Shout out to Judner if you watching this, man. I appreciate you still to this day.
No doubt, man. Shout out to you and Judner for being good people, legitimate dudes. Let me tell y'all something about Judner, though. I asked this man to come join me on my birthday live stream a couple of years ago. Obviously, this dude has over 2 million subscribers. I had no idea if it would happen or not. I just extended the invitation, hoping maybe I'll get lucky and he'll come. I don't know, but I don't expect him to come. I didn't expect him to come.
Wow.
Tell me why on a date night with his wife, this man showed up in my birthday stream, man.
That's crazy.
I'm like, bro, you on a date? You out with the wife? Like, out with the wife. Now, he didn't have to do that. He stayed for a few minutes and chatted me up on my birthday. And I cannot tell you how I appreciated that because he didn't have to do that. Again, he is out with his wife at dinner, but still picked up his phone and dialed into my stream just to talk to me for a minute and wish me happy birthday. So when we tell you all that Judner is legit people, that man is legit people.
Yeah, man. And you got to really put, I mean, you got to call a spade, right? He got, like you said, 2 million subscribers. And you got to kind of call a spade with everybody with a larger platform. You know, for him to take time out of his day, when think about like at the level we at right now, how much traffic we get, you know what I'm saying? Amplify that times 1 million. And think about how many phone calls he get per day, messages per day, emails per day, people tweeting him all day, asking for stuff, XYZ. For somebody to still come out of their way and take the time out to come to your stream or to do something like that, for me, that speaks so highly of somebody, man. So highly of somebody. And I try to pride myself by doing the same thing.
No doubt, man. Straight I mean, like you said, play it forward, man. If you getting blessed, then there's nothing wrong with you going out and blessing somebody else. No doubt, man. No doubt. So I told you before we went live that I'm a camera noob and you are the camera expert. So I want to talk to you about some camera basics because I need a better understanding of what everything is and how it works and things like that.
So I see you've been upgrading everything lately.
Bro, right now I'm on this Sigma 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I don't even know what all that crap means, but it's impressive. I look good. I look nice and crispy tonight, so I'm cool with that.
Right.
All right, so let's start with white balance. What the hell is white balance?
So all the different colors of the spectrum have a color temperature, right? Mm-hmm. White balance is what's the easy way to explain it?
I'll put them on the spot.
All right, so I'll give you an example, right? When you go outside at night, or let's just say like around 7 or 8 o'clock when the sun is set, never wonder how it's kind of orangey outside. It's got like that orange glow to everything. Whereas in the middle of the day, it's like everything is washed out and it's kind of like a real bright bluish color, almost white. And so that's what white balance is. And what doing that in the camera does is it keeps everything neutral, if that makes sense. So if it's daylight outside, you don't want to assign a white balance of a cloudy day because it'll give your footage a blue tone. You know what I'm saying? Because it's trying to match. All of those different presets in the camera have different Kelvin values assigned to them. So letting the camera auto white balance will let the camera do the work with trying to make sure that your colors and everything are as balanced as possible based off of the ambient light. I may not be explaining it the right way, but the easiest way to understand it is to go through and go into your camera's white balance menu and just go through the presets. You'll see how each one of those white balance settings affects how your footage looks. So typically the camera will do it by itself. And, the A7 III is pretty good at it. But there are times where like you may be shooting outside, right? You're doing a video and clouds might cover the sun. And that might change the temperature of the overall light that's coming from the sky. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good when you're filming to set it manually. So if it's broad daylight, you want to go into your camera setting, set the white balance for daylight. If it's cloudy outside, set it for cloudy. Let the camera do the work for the most part. So I always recommend to manually set white balance just because you don't want I had a video. It was when I was shooting that Sigma 16 millimeter versus 24 millimeter video, and the white balance shifted on me mid video. because the light right from over there in the corner, it went from sunny to cloudy because some clouds covered the sun up. And you can literally see mid video where it went from super orange to like a real cool color while the camera was trying to balance the white balance. So yeah. So I hope that made sense.
No doubt. All right. Next, let's talk about ISO. Now, I have a little bit of an idea what ISO is and what it does, and I think it just does it relate to how much light the lens takes in, or what exactly is ISO?
No, ISO. So this, whenever anybody asks me about ISO, this is how I explain it. You know, have you ever had a car amp installed to your car, like for a sound system or any type of amp? Period. Like an amplifier.
No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, so amplifier, like for audio, for example, you turn it up, it makes it's gain, right? So it's amplifying that audio signal to make it louder. The problem is the more you turn that amp up, the more distorted that audio is going to get. ISO is the same thing, but it's just dealing with the sensor and the camera. So ISO is just the sensitivity of the sensor. So typically it's the last thing you want to touch, because the higher you crank that ISO, the crappier your image is going to get. However, with the A7 III, it is a high ISO beast. So a lot of shots, like some cameras, the image might fall apart at ISO 800. The A7 III, you can go to ISO 4000 and it'll be just as clean. So ISO is like the camera's sensitivity. You kind of like, anytime you increase ISO, you're cranking up the sensitivity of the sensor to light.
Okay. Your audio cutting in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if people are all up on the net in your house or whatever, but I don't know.
Oh man, that's not bad. That's not good.
All right, there we go.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now. It's like sometimes it goes in and out. It's a little crazy, but we good. All right. So maybe I was mistaken ISO with exposure, right? Or what is exposure?
Well, exposure is all of those things combined, like shutter speed, ISO, aperture. They all go into adjusting your exposure. So all the exposure is the amount of light hitting the sensor. You use these different pieces to adjust the overall exposure to get the look you want. Typically, all cameras have an exposure meter. So I don't know if you ever paid attention to like the bottom of your screen. Is my audio still cutting out?
No, you're good.
Okay. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a little meter that says plus or minus 0. And then there's notches on the right side and notches on the left side. That's the exposure meter. So that's let you know 0 means that the camera thinks that this is a perfect amount of light coming in. All right. If it's to the right of that 0, that means that you are overexposing. So either your shutter speed is too high or too low. Your aperture is either too wide or closed down too much, or your ISO is too high. And the camera's telling you, hey, this is too much light coming into this camera. If it's on the other end of the 0, so it's going back the left way, then that's telling you, hey, there's not enough light coming into the camera. So all exposure is the amount of light hitting the sensor in the camera, and then the camera is reading that and giving you a value, but you use shutter speed, ISO, aperture to control the exposure.
Gotcha. Okay. Very detailed information. Thank you for the explanation, man. No doubt. All right. So, as most of you guys know, and Terry know, I just brought a new camera lens. I got the Sigma 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8. What's that?
So you dropped the bag.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Man.
Which I'm using right now, and it looks pretty good. But anytime that we are talking about camera lenses, there's always talk of focal length. So what is focal length exactly, Terry, and what does it have to do with lenses and things?
Focal length is literally what it is technically. When they say millimeter, it's the amount of millimeters from the like the piece of glass to the sensor or something like that. It's some scientific crap that I ain't got time for. To make it make sense, the focal length is kind of equivalent to the field of view. So the lower the number, the wider the lens is, right? The higher the number, then the more punched in the lens is. So you got a 24 to 70. At 24 millimeters, it's wide. It's not super wide, but it's wide enough to get like your head, maybe some of your chest in it, sitting up close on the camera. At 70, then it's like a telephoto lens. So if you had the camera sitting right where you at 70 millimeters, it wouldn't even be able to focus on you, number one. But number two, you will want to use that like if you wanted to take a picture of a bird in the tree, or you want to snipe a picture of somebody from across the park, from across the sidewalk. But yeah, in general, the higher the number, especially when you got zoom lenses, the higher the number is the furthest it can punch out. The low number is the widest that it can punch out.
Gotcha. Yo, shout out to Battery Power for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, you starting the super chat wars, dude?
He's starting the super chat wars.
He's starting it up.
Also, shout out to the 26 of you all that are watching this podcast live tonight. Thank you for joining this episode of VypDrive with me and my man Terry Warfield. I appreciate you guys. If you want to support the podcast, you do have the option to super chat. They are open, as you guys can see. You also have the option to become a channel member, or you can buy me a coffee if you don't want you to take a 30% of your super chat donation. None of this stuff is required, but anything that you could do to support the podcast will be greatly appreciated. Shout out to those of y'all that are listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with my man Terry Warfield. I appreciate you guys listening each and every week. If you would like to support the podcast, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. It is not required, but anything that you are willing to do is greatly appreciated. Also, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as it helps more people discover the podcast, and that is what we want. Like I've been telling you guys, I'm trying to get this podcast back into the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple Podcasts. So help me out by leaving that rating or review. Appreciate you guys listening on audio each and every week. Shout out to Gabe Black for the super chat for the next lens. Dude, there will be no next lens. This thing costs over a G. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm not buying no more lens for a while. I'm straight, but I appreciate the super chat, man. Yeah, technically, T, what you're looking at right now is the Sigma, man. It is legit. This is serious glass. Although the problem is my natural lighting keeps changing, so I'm keep getting darker and darker. Luckily, I have to go dock up here. I can like add more light.
Yeah, but see, this is where the power of that A7 III can help you out, dog. So you can bump the ISO on the A7 III and bring in a whole lot more light instead of having to add additional lights. The A7 III is crazy, dog.
Oh, I believe it. That's why I wanted it, man. I remember when I got it last year, I'm like, man, this is the camera that all the big dogs use. I want it. And luckily, I got a bonus last year. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting an A7 III. And I got it. Man, this camera's amazing, bro. No doubt.
It can basically see in the freaking dark.
So I've heard, man. I heard the low light is legit, man. So let's pick up there. If a lot of times when we're talking about photography, Terry, especially as it relates to cameras and smartphones too, we talk about low light. And I think, as you just alluded to, low light is basically how much your camera can see in the dark. So can you explain a little bit more about low light and having a good low light?
Some cameras are trash at low light, dog. Like, I think El Jefe put in there like he got a Canon SL2, which obviously it don't cost anywhere near A7 III, but usually with the cameras with the bigger sensors, they're better in low light, man. I shot a video with the A7 III. It was like a year ago, I think, where it was my dude on his bike. I don't know if you saw that video, but we shot that video. Some of them clips in that thing were like ISO 4000, which is crazy. But I mean, in general, like, it's just typically the bigger the sensor in the camera, the better it is in low light. Sony has some type of way figured out how to get cleaner low light footage than any like consumer grade full frame camera out there. It ain't the best. Like, it's obviously cameras out there that can do more, but for the money, you really can't beat the low light capability of the A7 III. The EOS R is real good in low light. I mean, pretty much any full frame camera is just much better in low light than like your Sony A6000 cameras or Canon 70Ds or SL2s or M50s, because they got smaller sensors. And it's the same thing with cell phones. Typically with cell phones, because the sensors are literally like that freaking big, I don't know if you can see that, they are trash when it comes to low light. So what ends up happening is the software inside the phone cranks the ISO up and slows the shutter speed to try to let in as much light as possible. That's why in most cases, cell phones are garbage in real light. I mean, the modern phones are a little different because you got like Google's software wizardry where they can do like they do a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff, and the Apple is real good too with all this night sight and all that stuff now. But typically, yeah, I mean, for low light stuff, you want to grab a camera.
No doubt, man. Yeah, definitely. You want a bigger sensor than which we get on the what we get on these smartphones. No doubt, man. No
People be
doubt.
expected too much from smartphones, man. Since we talk about it, like, yeah, I'm sick of the snobs. Like CJ always say, man, the snobs are ridiculous, dude. Like, people get iPhones like this camera is terrible in low light. It's a sensor that's the size of an eraser. Like, what do you expect? People have all these complaints about cell phones, dude, get a freaking camera if you want to make all these complaints because it sucks in low light. All right, ran over.
No, but you make a good point though. I think because the smartphone cameras have gotten so good over the past decade, people come to expect a lot more from a smartphone than what it's really capable of, especially as it relates to photography and the way pictures look and then the different features. Like, it's okay if your smartphone has night mode or night sight or whatever you call it, but it's not gonna live up to a DSLR or a mirrorless camera and what those cameras can do. Stop playing. It's not even in the same game, not even in the same league. But you know what they say, Terry. I think the biggest thing is they always say the best camera is the one you have on you at that time, and
that's a fact.
The smartphone is what we have on us.
That's a fact. And I gotta say, like, smartphones have come a long way. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat physics. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't beat physics. If you want more light, you want better photos, get, in most cases, a better sensor. But they are doing some amazing things with freaking software, like night mode and all of that crap that they got now, where it's basically, I mean, it's nothing that you can't do with a regular camera and software on your computer, but it's doing it all on board right in the phone right after you snap the picture, which is nuts. It's bumping the ISO, you know, lowering the shutter speed, taking the photo, sometimes taking multiple photos, merging them together, applying noise reduction, adding sharpening, spitting it out.
Boom.
All within like 30 seconds, if that. It's freaking crazy, man.
I mean, the pixels became famous because of the way they apply bokeh after you take a picture. I'm like, wow.
It's crazy. Like, I wish they would take some of this, and Sony has started to do it with that ZV-1, taking some of these smart features and putting them in camera.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about taking over the game? Man. Make a Sony A60-100 with smart features built into it where people don't even have to worry about picking up a computer. Letting them change the bokeh after the shot and all that stuff in freaking camera. Man, them things won't stay on the shelf.
Oh, no doubt. Shout out to Glenn for the super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
it. Shout out to Glenn.
No doubt. I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, like I said, I'm a camera noob, but before I make any big money purchase, I do my research, because what self-respecting person wouldn't do their research if they're making a purchase that's up north of $1,000, right? Yeah. So when I was doing my research, obviously when you are talking about buying a lens, I mean, there's a lot that goes into buying camera lenses and things like that. But the main names that I kept coming across in my lens research, obviously you got Sony, they make their own lens, and you got Sigma, and then you got Tamron. Now, when I was talking about upgrading my gear on Twitter, Everyday Dad immediately piped up and said, dude, get the Sigma 24 to 70 millimeter. It'll be the last lens you ever need. It'll do everything that you need. I think a couple other people suggested that I should look at the Tamron lens. And then obviously, like I said, Sony makes their own lens. So, Terry, what are your thoughts on these different types of lens? You got Sony, Tamron, Sigma. What are your thoughts on all of them?
Oh, man. I knew you was going to go here. Oh, man. I knew you was going to go here. I'm just going to throw this out there. Sigma per dollar, value per dollar are the best lenses out there. I'm not saying that they're the best lenses out there, but value per dollar, Sigma makes the best lenses. Now, if you want to eliminate price from the equation, obviously Sony makes the best lenses for Sony cameras because it's freaking Sony.
Right.
They make it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's crazy? Tamron. And I've recently been connected with Tamron, so I've been reviewing some of their lenses and stuff like that. I really like what Tamron is doing because they're bringing like G Master level quality optics, not lenses, but optics at a much more affordable price. So, for example, that Tamron 17 to 28 f2 is only like $100. The Tamron 28 to 75 is like $800. So those two lenses right there cover basically what everybody needs them to do at a cheaper price point than typically you can get with most other manufacturers. The 24-70 you got from Sigma is awesome as well. I haven't had a chance to test that one out, but I've heard some really, really good things. But in general, me personally, I'm always going to recommend, whatever camera system you got, go with the native lenses if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, then Tamron does make some great quality. I think T said he loves Tamron glass, but not a huge fan of their bokeh, but still gets the job done. I don't know, man. I still got the 70 to 180 in the box over there. And I did 2 videos on that lens because that lens is freaking incredible, dog. The bokeh and everything. But I think as a whole, like Sigma has it from a value per dollar. And their lenses are top-notch. Construction, image quality, like they like rival G Masters at half the cost.
Yeah, that was one of the big things I heard about this 24-70 when I was doing research. People kept saying that, dude, this lens is almost as good as the Sony G Master at, like Terry said, at half the cost. Price. Crazy.
Yep.
Shout out to my man.
I think the only thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say shout out to my man the Poet for the $5 super chat. Said Terry here inspiring people to learn more about cameras and extremely hard shots. That's my boy. Yeah, man. Terry's legit. One of the best, baby. One of the best.
Shout out to the Poets. He just hit 35K on TikTok. You want to talk about inspiring? Bro, 35K on TikTok within like 6 months.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, man.
Wow.
No doubt. He's doing his thing over there. Definitely.
Yeah, you can't beat those. I just think it's dope that we have such good glass available for all these camera systems, dog, at a cheaper like barrier of entry. You know what I'm saying? Like a solid 28 to 75. I mean 24 to 70. A good one is always like $2,700-$2,800. Canon 24 to 70s, the L series, man, you talk about spending some money. So I just appreciate that all these other manufacturers, since mirrorlesses came around, like it's a lot easier for these camera companies to make lenses for the respective manufacturers.
No doubt. It's nice that you all these different cameras got their own little ecosystem, or you can go outside of their ecosystem like Sony. You can get Sigma lenses, you can get Tamron. I think it's the same way with Canon, and you got Nikon and Fuji. I mean, the camera game has heated up a lot in the last 3 to 4 years, man. So it's very competitive out here, and everybody's making pretty damn good products.
You still got companies like VypDrive too, where they've been making a lot of noise, and they like I got they 85 millimeter, and it's just as good as the Sony one for half the cost. So you got a lot of these smaller companies too that are trying to come in the market at a competitive price, and it's all around better for us at the end of the day. I'm cheap. I don't like spending money. So I get these cheap lenses that look just as good as, if not better than their native counterparts, man, sign me up.
Hey, no doubt, man. Before I got this lens, I was considering the Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4. And you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, you should rock with that. But like I said, then everyday dad chimed in like, yo, you want a lens, you got to go look at that 24 to 77 or 24 to 70. You won't need anything else. I'm like, okay. Right. I'm like, it's kind of pricey, but man,
I'm gonna go against everyday dad right now.
Oh,
I'm gonna go against him. Okay. Gary is right. The 24 to 70 is the most versatile lens out there, whether it's Sony, Canon, whatever. It's the most versatile lens out there. But I think about the type of content you make, which is mainly like talking head stuff, sitting in the studio, a little bit of B-roll. I don't know that. I mean, I guess it's good that you got a lens you can grow into if next year you want to get into like street photography or whatever. But like that Sigma 16 millimeter is nuts, dude. That lens, I got it right over there. I still use that lens to this day. I mean, if you could afford it, obviously, yeah, but I don't know, man. That Sigma 16 millimeter for the price is hard to argue with. Because, man, like you get f2.8 with the lens you got now, but you can pull in even more light and get even shallower depth of field, meaning you can get even blurrier backgrounds with that Sigma, and it's $300.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, dog, my first year on YouTube was straight Sigma 16 millimeter. On an A7 III or on like an A6300, it's 24 millimeters, which is a super versatile focal length for YouTube stuff. So that was my first lens for YouTube, and I rolled with it, and I made it work in every single situation. And I sold a lot of them too, because I made so many videos on that freaking lens. But no, real talk, man. Yeah, I mean the 24-70 you definitely can grow into. So that's a good thing about it. But for what you do, it might be a little overkill for now, but you never know. Your needs might change in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So he is right in that regard where you'll never need another lens, 70 millimeters. Like, unless you decide that you want to start doing bird photography or,
I don't think so. I don't see Viper out there doing bird photography. Do y'all see Viper out there doing bird photography? I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, somebody else, Brian, brought up a good point that Sigma 18-35 is also a great freaking lens. The only issue is with the Sigma 18-35 is it's a crop sensor. I mean, the Sigma 16 is a crop sensor lens too. So I guess whatever. But that's a very popular lens too.
Yeah, like I said, everybody kept talking about the Sigma 16 to the 16 f1.4, man, no doubt. All right, Terry, we need to settle a lifelong camera debate right now. You the camera expert. I'm on the outside looking in.
I know what you're about to say.
You know where I'm going, right?
Go ahead.
So, Terry, who truly has the better autofocus? Is it Sony or is it Canon, Terry? Let us know, baby. Let us know.
Man. Look, honestly, right now, I think they are neck and neck.
Whoa, you copping out? Not a cop out, Terry?
No, it's not. Dual pixel is legit, dog. And listen, man, let me say this.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Listen, I love Sony right now, but I'm not a Sony loyalist. You know what I'm saying? If the Canon R6 comes out and it's wiping the floor at an affordable price point that I can get into the ecosystem with, and it has all the features I want, I will jump ship without hesitating. Okay, Sony suits my needs right now, but that doesn't mean that Fuji or Canon or whoever can't sway me in the other direction. However, back to the question: dual pixel on the Canon, and I've used them both. I've used the Canon EOS R, I've used the Canon 50, not extensively, but I've used it enough to know what it's like, and the A7 III. I have to give the slight, and I mean very slight, advantage right now to Sony. I got to give it to Sony. I do. I just think Sony is their autofocus system, like just the amount of focus points they have two. Without getting into the technical stuff, I think Sony's better right now, but not by much. If we judge it on a scale of 100, if I'm putting Sony at 100, I'm putting Canon at 97.
Okay, that's pretty fair. Speaking of Sony, you just made a video about their newest release, the ZV-1. So talk to us about your experience with the ZV-1.
I'm about to make another video about that camera. Hey man, I wanted to hate on that camera so freaking bad. I did, because I got a gripe with Sony, man. I love them. They know I love them. I tell them this, and when I talk to my Sony people, I'm not like, I tell them what I don't like. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is they listen. Like, and that's one thing that I guess, like, from talking to my people at Sony, like, they have actual roundtable meetings where they bring up specific examples of people saying XYZ on Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. Like, they actually listen. I love Sony, but at the same time, I'm sick of the same thing over and over. It's like the same thing is just getting copied from camera to camera to camera to camera. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When it comes to like codecs, when it comes to frame rates, like none of them are doing anything new except for obviously bringing eye autofocus and stuff like that. So when I saw another camera from Sony with the same stuff, I'm like, oh my God, why? So anyways, when I got the email, like, yo, we got them in stock, we send you one. I'm like, send it then. Send it. I don't even want it, but send it. And I got it. And I had to take a step back at that point because, like, if they were, I'm getting to all that, micro USB, I'm getting to all that. If they were marketing this as the ultimate camera for everybody, then I'd have an issue with it. But they didn't. They said that this camera, the ZV-1, is made for content creators and vloggers. And from that perspective, then it's fantastic. As a whole camera, it's not. But as a as doing what its advertisers do. Content creation, making things simple, making stuff like getting background blur from a person who has no clue what a freaking aperture is. There's a button for it. Like, yes, it fulfills that need, and it does it. It's hard for me to hate on that camera. It's hard because it's got so much stuff packed into that little body at a $750 price point, which is, I mean, I think it's a tad little expensive, but it ain't like out the ballpark like the RX 100 Mark 7 was. Overall, even though I hate micro USB, unacceptable. I hate not being able to touch the freaking screen to get to the menu. I hate that. And I don't I've said this to Sony. I don't get it. Y'all have engineers that can basically create anything you want to. You make the most sophisticated cameras out there. Well, consumer grade, I should say, from a feature perspective. I gotta throw that out there because the Canon EOS R5 will be hot. Like they hate when you go there. But like it can't be that hard. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make cell phones that have UIs. You make TVs that have UIs. Can't be that difficult to come up with a team of software engineers who can instead make a touch interactive graphic interface. Panasonic has it, Fuji has it, Canon has it. Everybody has it except for Sony. Why? I don't get it. Fix it. But aside from those two things, micro USB and not having a real touch interface, I think that camera is lit, dog. It's lit. It is. I mean, you saw in that video, man. Footage out of that camera is crispy. I'm talking about crispy. And being able to shoot at f1.8 at 24 millimeters means you get some solid B-roll with bokeh, and it's dope. And it's the same focal range as the lens you got is 24 to 70, but the aperture changes. But you pair that with all of these frame rates that it has, amazing 4K, a flip out screen, you know what I'm saying? A versatile focal, like, man, that camera is lit. That camera is lit. I said I was gonna buy one, but I'm not because I got to save my coins for that PS5 when it dropped. But it's lit. It's lit.
Yeah, all the early reviews that I saw, people seem to really enjoy that camera. Definitely.
Somebody said my audio still. I don't know if it's peaking or what the hell is going on.
But from time to time it's just choppy. It's like in and out. It's like
maybe it's my internet.
Yeah, it might be the internet. It sounds robotic, but you're okay now. You are okay for the time being here. Man. Woo. Terry Warfield bringing all types of camera information tonight, man. I appreciate the info, man. Like I said, I'm a camera noob. I don't know any of this stuff, so nice to be able to sit down and talk to you.
I might be jumping, man. Listen, Canon just said that R5 and R6 about to get announced on July 9th, man. So we about to see what's about to happen.
All right, Terry. So I got another question about the Sony as related to the ZV-1. So the ZV-1 has something that we have been clamoring for on Sony camera for a while now, that being that articulating screen. So is there any chance of that coming to their full frame camera? Because right now, not so much.
You know what? I don't know.
I don't know. He just said that. He's like, I don't know.
Because here's the thing. Like, before I got a Sony mirrorless camera, I had a Sony SLT. They had another camera technology called single lens translucent, some crap like that. All right. But it was a large camera, but it had a fully articulating screen on it. I think they took it out with the A7 series because they were trying to keep it small. They were trying to keep a smaller camera, and obviously that rotating mechanism takes up a lot of space, at least the one that they had on the camera before. I don't know if they're going to do anything about it or not. I would hope so, with as many people have complained about it. And you got to think, they listened, like everything we've complained about, they listened to. On the A6300, we hated it. Why you didn't give us the flip-up screen? On A6400, they fixed it. 6600, 6100, they fixed it. People then complained about, oh man, it flips up, and now it's blocking my microphone. It's blocking my cold shoe on the camera, hot shoe on the camera. They listened. The ZV-1, it flips to the side. So hopefully it's a good sign of things to come. We shall see, because Sony is supposedly releasing the details on the A7S III within the next 2 weeks, and also they are rumored to have a new full frame camera. That is it's a budget full frame. It's like the Sony A5 or something like that, where it's a budget full frame, not A7 IV yet, but hey, we about to see. But this is one of them points, man. So if the Canon EOS R6 comes along, guns a blazing, full frame, all the new video codecs that we've been asking Sony for years, because they keep putting the same crap in it. Crap is a bad word. They keep putting the same thing in every camera. We want more. We want 10-bit. We want 4K 60. We want, higher bit rate video files. They've been listening to everything else. But if the Canon R6 comes along and it's got all of those boxes ticked, and Sony don't say nothing about the A7 IV shortly after that, hey man,
he like bye.
hey, I'm just being honest. And it's not. And let me also say this, man, to the people that's in the stream. You don't need the latest and greatest camera. The dope thing about cameras is they last a long time. And new cameras that are groundbreaking when it comes to technology, they don't come along that often. A cell phone, we get a new flagship phone every 6 months. You know what I'm saying? With cameras, you're looking at new flagships every 3 to 4 or 5 years. And even still, with the technology we have now, even the last generation Sony A7s are still more than capable enough for 99% of the people out there. So don't think that you got to, gear chase. Like, we just tech snobs. You know what I'm saying? We just got to have the latest and greatest for no reason, by the way. No reason. We don't even need it. Like, most times people get new cameras and it ain't going to help their production value. It ain't going to help nothing. But, hey, that's what we do, man.
Speaking of tech snob, Terry, you put out a tweet a few days ago about how people are arguing about which phone is better and things like that. I think you're getting a little perturbed, man. So,
yeah, it's just stupid. Like, it's just dumb. Like, listen, man, I will have a rational conversation with anybody as long as it's rational. But when I was doing cell phone videos, I'm looking at my video. It's my internet connection that's causing that. That's what it is. Thanks, Time Warner. But anyways, I look at some of these people in the comments literally having wars with each other, calling people out their names. You're an idiot, iPhone, FTW, Android. Just like, at the end of the day, man, I don't care what kind of phone you're using. I could care less what phone you are using. If you just want to have a debate about features or whatever for conversation's sake, that's one thing. But for people that are literally sitting there arguing with people, attacking them with slurs, etc., over freaking cell phones, y'all are idiots. Idiots, man. Their cell phone, it's a phone. You want to argue about something, argue about all of these global issues we're having right now. Y'all are arguing about mobile devices that honestly are no better than each other. Is really pick your poison. Which one works better for you? Is that, you know what I'm saying? People are arguing over, and you know what it is? It's a sense of people need to protect their investments. People feel like they need to they need to self-validate for the money that they've spent for this $1,500 cell phone. And anybody that makes them feel like my purchase may have been in vain or my purchase was wrong, that's when they go into defense. At the end of the day, it's your money. I don't care if you bought raisins with that money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's your money. And I just can't understand. I mean, you go on Twitter and it's just, endless tweet threads with people going back and forth. Like, y'all are arguing about a freaking phone. I'll never understand it.
People are crazy. The last time we were on in podcast, Terry, we were talking about how people can't stay out of other people's business, man. So you know how it is.
Hey, man. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing. I say the same thing about you, Viper. Like, a lot of people get straight butt hurt when they see you like reaching out to like Sarah Dici or, XYZ. And I'll just be in the cut like, why do you care what this man is doing? Why? It's fair for somebody not to like it. If you don't like it, fair. You have the option to unfollow. And that's as simple as that. If
True
you
story.
don't like it, unfollow him. But I don't get it, man. People sitting there with like a microscope on the actions and etc. of another grown man. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I see stuff I don't like all the time. People probably hate some of the stuff I say. I lose followers all the time, not that I care. But like, unfollow me. I've never sat there and saw something somebody posted and thought, let me type up this hateful response to this other grown man. Oh man, that's female stuff, man.
It's like
if you don't like it, unfollow.
It's like you said last time we talked. If you got time to hate on somebody else, you are not doing the right things in your own life. You are directing your energy in the wrong place.
Don't get me wrong. I hate in my head all the time. Just like, I mean, that's natural. Everybody does it. I might see a tweet like, oh, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Or, I don't agree with that. It's stupid, whatever. But, at the end of the day, for me to sit there and type something out like, oh, man, you're an idiot because of the phone you chose, or you're an idiot because you keep tweeting that XYZ and she's not responding. Like, I'll just unfollow you. It's just that easy. You know what I'm saying? If someone is that perturbed with what you're doing, unfollow. And for the people that don't like what I do, I don't care. Just unfollow.
It's interesting that you just gave that example of people get mad at somebody for tweeting at somebody and they don't respond and things like that. I know a little while ago, people got mad at me for tweeting at a certain YouTuber and how she wasn't responding and things like that. All I'm gonna say is,
it probably worked.
It's coming. It's coming. All I'm gonna say, baby. I can't say too much right now, but all I'm gonna say, it's coming, people. It's coming.
Listen, man. I always say, shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot. Because have you ever sat back and thought about how many opportunities you probably missed out on from not shooting your shot?
Oh, all the time when I was growing up, all the time, man.
Yeah. From not just, sometimes all it is asking, yo, can you help me? Sometimes that's all it is. Hey, bro, I know you got XYZ connection. Is it any way possible that maybe I can help you if you help me? Like, can we help each other? Like, and this is, hey, look, if you listening, man, shoot your shot. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who call you stupid, because then will be the same people when that shot you took worked on your butt trying to be like, oh, I was down with you since day one.
Bro, I am just waiting. Like, I am on the cusp of a moment in time. And when I'm able to just go with it, I'm just going to be looking like, ha, I told you.
Right. You got to shoot your shot, man. I think about all the opportunities I've had, man. Like, a lot of them opportunities were just me, even though I didn't feel comfortable greeting or introducing myself. I've been in situations where I was like, you know what? I'm in a room with some powerful people. I can either sit here and be a mute and not take advantage, or I could get uncomfortable and shoot my shot. And it's gotten me in some major places. So, hey, I always tell you, man, listen, when I see you shooting your shot at people, a lot of times you see me like them or retweet them, because it take balls to do that. And people that don't have the balls to do that don't understand it. But to get where you want to go, you got to do things you haven't done. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta look stupid.
He just said you gotta do things that you haven't done to get where you haven't been. Oh my God.
Man, sometimes you gotta get stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you have to get drastic. And that's how life works. You know what I'm saying? That's how life works. You keep doing the same thing, you're gonna keep getting the same thing out of it. Sometimes you gotta take the shot. You gotta take the shot, man. If people, I don't understand that. Like, if you keep doing the exact same thing every day, you cannot accept, you can't expect a different output. You keep putting in 1 + 1, you're gonna get 2 every time. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be able, if you want to grow, if you want to accomplish stuff that you haven't accomplished, you got to take some risk. And if that risk is you publicly tweeting somebody, then I'm all for it. I don't care if they call you the stupidest man in the world. I'm always going to have respect for somebody taking that leap of faith and shooting a shot, because if you don't, then somebody else will, and you're going to be looking at them like, damn, I should have did it when they did it.
Ooh, are y'all getting all this? I hope y'all taking notes. I hope y'all writing it down. I mean, damn. Woo!
Straight up. Straight up. You don't take the shot.
Damn.
Hey, it's facts, man. If you don't take the shot, somebody gonna take it for you. And you're
Always.
gonna be salty. You're gonna be salty if when they take that shot, they hit that joint. You're gonna be
Absolutely.
salty.
Tell them, man. Exactly. The shot that you don't take, somebody else is just waiting to take it. I mean, what are you doing? Life is too short. Like I said earlier, I go back now in the first half of my life when I was a teenager growing up in high school, and all of the shots that I didn't take back in high school, and I just think to myself, damn, dude, you could have had some major opportunities had you just shot your shot in high school. So now I'm growing up. I know better. I'm like, man, I'm taking all the damn shots now. Give me the ball, son.
Now, if you just go back and think about how different would your life have been if you took the shot back then, how different would your life be now? But that's part of, we can reflect on that right now because you got the same opportunity right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you might, I'm 30, about to be 35. Like I might be looking back when I'm 50, like, man, when I was 35, I could have took that shot and that shot could have changed my life. And I didn't do it. So you gotta learn from your past. If you realize that I missed a lot of opportunities growing up, hey, you got time to change it. Take the shot, man. If it ain't tweeting out publicly, tweet it out publicly. Hit the brand up you want to hit. The worst thing they can say is no. Ask the girl out on a date you've been wanting to go out on a date with. The worst thing she can say is no. No. What if she really liked you, Thomas? You didn't know it.
Right.
And she said, yeah. But you would have never known that if you ain't asked her. So that's all I'm saying. You gotta ask.
Tell you, this is powerful stuff, y'all. This is powerful stuff.
My man CK Tech said something powerful a few weeks ago. Sometimes you gotta get out of your own way. Sometimes we're standing in our own way. Whatever it is, man. Sometimes you gotta get out of your own way and just go for it.
Exactly. I like to say nothing grows inside your comfort zone. Nothing. All right, you all. We've been going for an hour, so usually I end it here, but me and Terry vibing, so we gonna stick around and take some questions for Terry. So if y'all got any camera questions, tech questions, anything you want to ask Terry, let's do it.
What are you doing?
I told you my daughter was gonna.
I'm about to edit that out.
What are you doing?
I'm about to do some editing on this one, y'all, but it's all right. But if you guys got a question for Terry, let us know, baby. We will get them to him. This is Q&A time.
Yeah, it's a lot of comments, man. We missed a lot of these comments. Yeah, man. If you got questions about anything,
that's right, my man.
If you do, I'm more than happy to answer them.
I mean, we got a certified camera guru out here, y'all. Y'all better ask some questions because I don't know nothing about cameras.
Hey, Hefe said Terry's little girl always stays lurking the stream, dog. Every time. I mean, every time.
That's right. Daddy is not allowed to do anything without her permission. You know how it is.
Well, the problem is right now is my other daughter is away. My wife is at work. And it's just the two boys here. So she don't have nothing to do right now except for haunt me and follow me around.
Well,
I'm happy to hear about that those plans that you're working on, man. That excites me to see things start to come into fruition. When everybody said that it wouldn't. That's just
I don't want to really talk about, but I'll give you, since you all listen to the podcast and it does relate to the podcast, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of it, what's going on. The next VypDrive will be episode 100. I want to do it big for episode 100. So I have reached out to a certain YouTuber to see if they will come on for episode 100. I have been trying to reach this person for not 1, but 2 years. 2 years I've been trying to get in contact with this person to be on a live stream with me.
And you didn't give up. You just kept going, even though
yesterday, out of nowhere. Yesterday. Actually, no. Actually, let me run this back. Let me run this back, you all. So before yesterday, I think it was like a month ago, right? I decided to pull a Terry. I decided to try something that I had not tried before. I tweeted at them publicly, and I posted a picture of them in the tweet because pictures get more traction than text. But people took it the wrong way, although I wasn't caring because I knew what I was doing. And it worked. It worked. It had the desired effect because that person followed me that day. Now, everybody took it the wrong way. They thought I was harassing this person, blah, blah, blah. But all I was trying to do is get the person's attention because I've been trying to for the longest and nothing was working. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to tweet with a picture because I know pictures get more traction. They get
because the same thing you were doing over and over wasn't working.
Right? Exactly.
You tried something different.
I tried something different.
Okay. So I just want to bring focus to that part.
No doubt. I posted a tweet at the person, put her picture on the tweet, and got the desired result because then she followed me, which is what I wanted. Because you can't DM somebody on Twitter unless they follow you, unless they have their DMs open. She did not have her DMs open, but they're open now, baby. So she follows me on Twitter. Most of y'all know where I'm going with this. iJustine. So now iJustine follows me on Twitter because I went out of the box. So I've been trying to DM this woman for the past month to be a guest on episode 100. I got no answer for the past month. But out of the blue yesterday, out of the blue, she DM'd Viper. She's like, Viper, I would love to be guest 100 or episode 100 of VypDrive. I would love to be. She's like, when do you record? So I'm like, are you free this weekend? So now I'm just waiting for a reply. But if I get what I want, and what I've been trying to for the past 2 years, people, VypDrive episode 100 will have iJustine. I'm just waiting for the DM reply so we can get it hammered out and bam. But it's coming. And I told y'all it's coming. And haters were hating all up and down Twitter about how I'm trying to get it done. Mm-hmm. But as usual, people, I got it done. I'm going to get done. I'm just waiting.
And see, here's the thing. That's a message to the haters. It's kind of pointless, man, because a lot of times as a hater, you end up making yourself look stupid. You end up making yourself look stupid. You did all of that hating. You did everything you could do to try to stop said person from accomplishing a mission, and then they got it. And then you just sitting in your room, cold, salty, and stupid. Whew. So that's major, man. And that basically summarizes everything you said. Everything. You kept doing, you kept doing it, wasn't working. Instead of quitting, you said, I'm gonna try something different. And even though you got a lot of backlash for it, at the end of the day, you made the shot. And you would have never made that shot if you would have let all these punks on the internet discourage you and tell you, oh man, that was the wrong thing to do. You shouldn't have did that. And you kept forward with it. I think we messaged after that and I told you to, hey, shoot your shot, dude.
Yep.
Shoot, because you never know what might come from that. And even though it might not be, hey, I agree now. If she didn't know who you were before that, she know who you are now. Hey, man, congratulations on that. I can't wait to. I hope she follows through on it. I wouldn't expect somebody of that caliber to say something that they didn't mean. So I hope she ends up making it. I will be there in stream to support.
I appreciate you, man. Like I said, she DM'd me yesterday, asked me when I record. I asked her if she free this weekend, and like I said, she hasn't replied yet, so I'm just waiting for a reply. But baby, when that happens, you all will know because I will plaster that ish all over Twitter.
All right, there's some questions in here. One in particular I want to address in regards to shooting your shot at Troy. I guess you meant Terry, me. Who's Troy?
All right, who's asking the question? So I can highlight it.
It's near the bottom. There's some other questions, but it's the second to last comment.
Second to last.
Right above.
Gabriel.
Yep,
Gabriel. Okay, got it. Yep, there it is. Okay.
So whoever I know you probably it was spell check. It was autocorrect. I already know. in regards to shooting your shot, what's your advice perspective for those starting at 0 day 1? That's a great question. One thing I always autocorrect. So nobody ever got rich. Well, I won't say nobody, but it's very rare to get rich by yourself. Typically, there's people along the way helping, right? Somebody extended you an olive branch. Somebody put you on, as we like to say. And I don't think starting out that there's anything wrong with asking for or taking the shot, right? And I guess it also depends on the type of shot that you're taking. But what I would recommend is before you take said shot, you want to make sure that you got something that whoever it is you're taking a shot at feels like, okay, this is worth my time. It has to be value in it for them too. You feel what I'm saying? Because you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you spent the last 15 years grinding and building this, whatever, you spent the last 15 years building a house, you ain't just going to come let anybody come sleep in there. You're going to vet them out first. You feel what I'm saying? And it's the same thing, whether it's YouTube or that job you want or whatever. If you're going and you're asking somebody for something else, you're taking, say, a shot, make sure you can back it up. You know what I'm saying? Or make sure that you at least can give them something out of it. And that's what I always say. Like, I don't like when people just hit me up asking for stuff, right? Help me help you. And it's the same. Like if you're gonna shoot your shot at somebody, what I try to go by is I try to bring value to that person also. Instead of just saying, yo, can you do XYZ for me? Yo, this is the idea I have. I think you could really help me out. Either this is what I can do for you, or please let me know what I can do to help. It's always a give and return.
No doubt, man. What I always say is, if you're going to reach out, especially if you're just starting out, you better have some type of body of work in place. Because like Terry said, they are going to vet you. Nobody's going to help you just to help you. They're going to make sure you're about that business. And if you're not about that business, if you don't have a body of work out there that makes it worth that person's time to like invest in you and co-sign you, don't ask.
Yep. Don't get confused in thinking, yo, I can't reach out to XYZ because I ain't got this amount of subscribers or XYZ. Yo, if somebody pull you up, they can see if you're serious about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That means more than the subscribers you got. If nobody's going to invest in the business not knowing that this business can't help them or make them money, or at least stand on its own after I help them. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. Keyword like Tech for Your Needs said, value and network. Value and network.
No doubt. Speaking of Tech for Your Needs, he asked, limited equipment does make you better. Yes or no? Why?
I absolutely think yes. I absolutely think yes, because it forces you to understand what you have. So if we relate this to cameras, right? It forces you, even if the camera is not that good, it forces you to get a level of understanding out of it to where you can get the best that you could get out of it. Then once you are able to upgrade, then you can take that knowledge that you've already learned from this crappy camera you had and apply it to a better system. So I feel like I was the most creative when I had the least amount of gear, because it forced me to be creative in ways that I couldn't compensate with gear for. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of gear. I think a lot of people buy a ton of gear without having any understanding of it. And part of that is I've done it. I do it all the time, buying stuff that you don't know how it works. Yeah. I mean, obviously you have to learn how it works, but some people buy gear as a way of compensating for their lack of skill set. Let me give you an example. One of my dudes, this was like a year and a half ago. He knows who he is. There's no shade on him. Had no clue about photography, no clue about filmmaking. I mean, amateur filmmaking, freelance filmmaking, whatever you want to call it. Goes out, buys a A7 III, the most expensive G Master lenses he can buy, and then proceeded to send me pictures of all these crappy pictures that he took with these multi-$1,000 combo. So then he proceeds to ask me what I use and why my photos look so good and his don't. I'm like, hey man, you, instead of trying to learn the craft, spent all the money you could spend and expected it to give you what you were looking for, and it doesn't work like that. And there's nothing wrong with buying the gear, but you have to be able to learn how to use it. There's no point of buying a Ferrari if you can't drive it. You got to learn how to drive it. I don't recommend somebody buy a Ferrari as their first car because it's stupid. You're not going to learn the fundamentals of safe driving in a Ferrari if it's your first time driving. So
not at all.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It could be a gift and a curse. And again, I don't discourage anybody. If you got the money, spend it. If you want to get nice gear, there's nothing wrong with that coming out the gate, getting nice gear, but take the time to learn how to use it before you blame your gear for not giving you what you want.
Definitely. So we got a good question from Janothans here. He wants to know which cameras and lenses hold their resale value best.
From consumer grade cameras, I gotta say probably. Sony's don't really depreciate that fast. Canon doesn't. Fuji doesn't. Panasonic really doesn't. Honestly, all of them hold their value pretty well as long as you keep them in good condition. And lenses even more so. Lenses, a lot of times, if you take care of them, you can resell them for almost as much as you paid for them. Cameras, not so much, because technology advances. Each generation of lenses is arguably better than the last, but lenses don't really work like that. Lenses have been basically stagnant for the last 15 years. Because you can still get old glass. A lot of people adapt vintage glass because it holds up. You know what I'm saying? So I really think it all holds value really well as long as you take care of it. And I don't know if I don't have any numbers or statistics to base my analysis off of, but I know I've looked at used cameras and I don't see anyone that stands out over the others.
Got you. So we got another question from Rain G4. He wants to know, hands down, what's the best camera?
I don't think there's a such thing as a best camera because all of them suck in some kind of way. They do. There's no such thing as a perfect camera. The more important question will be what's important to you, because for example, I'll give you the one of the most debated camera duos right now, the A7 III versus the Canon EOS R, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both cameras are amazing, but depending on what you need, and I'll give you I was about to say a specific example. So Canons may not have all the crazy features that Sony have, but what they have is user experience, right? Anybody with any type of knowledge of a basic level camera can operate an EOS R because it's that friendly to use. It's got a touchscreen. It acts like an iPhone when it comes to like menus and stuff like that. It just works with you. Whereas the Sonys, you got to fight with them. You got to make the Sony work for you, whereas the Canon does the work for you. But which one of those are better? I don't know. The person who prioritizes user experience might think that the Canon is better. Me, for somebody who wants the specs and all the little knickknack stuff that the Sony can do, for me, the Sony is better. So I don't think that there is necessarily a better or the best camera. The best camera is one out of all of our price ranges. They got like Hasselblads cost $50,000, $60,000. Then you got cinema cameras like Arby's and Red cameras that cost $100,000. So I just think that's a loaded question. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no best camera.
You know what? That's a good answer though, because I knew you were going to say, what's the best camera for you? Because I think we can say that about everything. If you're asking a question, ultimately it depends on what matters most to you. What are you looking for in a camera? What are you looking for in a smartphone? When we ask which is better, iOS or Android, there's no universal definitive answer. What works best for you? What fits your workflow best? That is the true answer. Just that simple. All right. Any more questions? Baby. Any more questions for my man Terry before we get him out of here? We don't want to keep him away from his little girl. She's on the hunt. She's on the prowl. Any more camera questions? Any more tech questions in general? Oh, Terry.
Hold on. It was one. Actually, there were two other ones real quick. So the Poets, this was, I don't know if you can highlight it. You mentioned the RX100 Mark 7, which is what I'm using for my YouTube channel. Is there anything in particular about this camera that you like, dislike? I reviewed the RX100 Mark 7. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was that I didn't feel like it brought enough value for how much money they were asking for it. And I was not a fan of the focal length on there. It was a 24 to 200 variable f 2.8 to 4.5. I'm getting all nerded out right now. But long story short, I really wasn't happy with the image quality out of that camera with that lens because I'm a bokeh snob. I'm a background blur snob. I love bokeh, and I just couldn't get any with that. When you pair that aperture range with that focal range with a smaller sensor, it didn't work out too well. And like that thing was $1,300 when it first came out. Like that's a lot of money for a camera that you can't expand with. You know what I'm saying? And that was my biggest argument with it. If I'm gonna spend $1,300, that's a lot of money. It ain't like $700. I mean, $700 is still a lot of money too, but $1,300 and I can't even change the front lens on this thing. Nah. So for me, it was out. It was out the question. And I appreciated everything it brought to the table, but for me, it was just mainly the price point and the lens selection. I didn't like it. And Renee said Sony camera and Duncan Frap or Canon camera. I was about to highlight that, yo. S'mores Frap. Which would you choose? Oh man. Well, I'm not a big fan of Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just not. I love Sony. I love cameras. And I'm gonna be honest. I tried the S'mores Frap. Viper had me try the S'mores Frap. And he's probably about to kick me out the stream, but I was not a big fan of it. And I tweeted you the day I bought it. And said, This thing is over freaking rated. It's overrated.
Overrated.
It's $7, dude, for $8. For
No,
$8, no.
that's your problem. Your problem is it's not that it wasn't good. Your problem is that it cost too much. That's a different argument.
I place everything with I equate everything when it to value. And for the $8 that it cost me, I was not blown away at all. Now, if the drink blew me away, I would have been like, man, I was worth $8. But that drink did not blow me away. And it could have been that somebody maybe the person making it didn't give a crap that day. I don't know.
Yeah, you got a bad barista there.
But I ain't willing to keep playing that $8 Russian roulette. No.
Oh man, you were too much, man. You were too much. All right, Renee also asked, what do you think about shooting log or 8-bit for YouTube? Any value or overkill?
I don't know. I think it depends on. All right, you had to go here now. I knew you was gonna do this shit. Okay, so all right. So here's the thing. Will the average person recognize it? No. Nobody's gonna watch your video and be like, "Yo, he shot that in 8-bit and not 10-bit." He didn't use a flat log profile and it wasn't color graded. That's straight out the camera. Unexcusable. So does it matter? It does matter, but I think it matters more for the person creating the video, right? Because, for example, I have a standard with how I like my videos. Doesn't mean that my viewers have the same standard. It's a personal standard that I like to uphold. I like for my videos to create a certain emotion, for them to look a certain way. But the average person watching a video is mindless about that. They could care less. They came to be entertained. Most people don't care about the bit rate and color grade and quality. I mean, obviously you have people who do care, but as a majority, no, they don't care. So for YouTube, I mean, after you deal with compression and everything, is it a big deal? No, but I for myself want 10-bit. I want better because my standards are increasing. Now, whether people will care about that when I pull it up, I don't know. But I want it for me. You know what I'm saying?
So you depose your wife is doing it right, man. Your wife is doing it right. I don't know what Terry's doing, but your wife's doing it right.
Well, the thing is, if my wife buys, she's spending my money, so it ain't gonna make a difference. It's still the same money. It ain't gonna make a difference.
All right, let's do what else we got down. All right, Range says, are camera phones good enough to do videos until buying a more professional camera? Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Dude, you got people. Mr. Beast got his first 6 million subscribers with a cell phone. People, listen, man. I'll be done in 1 second. Let me tell you this, man. The same thing I just said. People are really not coming to YouTube. I would give you an example. Have you ever went to a movie theater and watched a movie and left out entertained? Did you ever think back after watching that movie? That movie was expertly filmed. The cinematography was just so good. And the color grading was, oh my God, it was freaking amazing. No, you don't care about that. You came to be entertained, which is where the power of YouTube comes into play, because 98% of people watching your videos don't give a crap how it looks. As long as they are entertained or they came and they were able to learn what they came to learn, people don't care. Now, for you personally, if you want higher standards for your videos, obviously, then yeah, get a camera. But don't think that a YouTube, I mean, there's a lot of people. You got El Jefe, Josh Keonis, both of them are in the chat right now. You got huge channels, Mr. Beast. You got tons of channels only using the cell phone for filming. Because the reality is, with any camera, as long as you feed the situation enough light, most modern cameras can rival mirrorless from at least like 4K, right? And rival is a bad word. You can somewhat come close, but any camera, whether it's a $200 camera or a $200,000 camera, as long as you feed it enough light, it'll spit out good image.
There you go, man. No doubt. All right, last question from Jonathan here. He says, Terry, who has the better bokeh for you, iPhone 11 Pro or Pixel 4?
Oh, man. Are we talking about like in portrait mode?
I think so. I think that's what we're talking about.
I am going to go with
I don't even know why you think hard about this. This is the easy answer.
Pixel.
Easily.
It's Pixel. Pixel doesn't get a lot of things right, but what it does get right, and Google knows it. Like they know what they need to fix with the Pixel. Everybody says the same things about the Pixel, but where they got it right is that software, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That software. And if I was Samsung or LG or anybody, I would just have somebody reverse engineer the code from Google's API and slap it on my own phones because it is that good. So yeah. I would have to go with the Pixel. Now, I think the iPhone as an all-around camera blows the Pixel out the water.
Absolutely.
But just from a straight portrait perspective, Pixel hands down.
Yep, that pixel portrait mode just still cannot be beat. I mean, like he said, the iPhone is the better overall camera, but when you talk about bokeh, we talk about the Pixel, baby.
There's been a lot of like if you get bored, go up and down, go on Instagram and type in hashtag Team Pixel or just Pixel 4. And you will see a lot of examples. Come from over there now. Daddy duties. You will see a lot of examples of pictures that people post from their Pixels. And some of them you will be hard pressed to not know that was taken from a cell phone. The Pixels are that good when it comes to stills.
Yep. I agree. Terry Warfield, once again, excellent conversation, man. Every time we get together, it is straight fire, baby. I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you having me on here.
No doubt. You already know where to find him. His information will be in the show notes or wherever you guys know how to. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know where to find my man Terry Warfield. You know where to find him on Twitter. If you don't, like I said, check the show notes of the podcast. All that good stuff will be there.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you guys for watching live tonight. I appreciate it. If you super chatted, became a channel member, brought me a coffee, any of that stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and Terry tonight. Appreciate you guys rocking out with me each and every episode. Shout out to those y'all that listen this week on audio only. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with my man Terry Warfield this week. I appreciate it. If you want to follow Terry, all his information will be in the show notes just like last time. So definitely go check this man out. He is the real deal. If you want to, like I said earlier, if you want to support the podcast, check the show notes. Nothing is required, but anything that you can do will be greatly appreciated. Also, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, consider leaving that rating or review so we can get this bad boy back into the top 200 of podcasts, baby. That's what I'm trying to do. But thank you guys for listening on audio each and every episode. I appreciate you guys. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.
Piece of chicken grease.